And I can tell you, standing here in front of the East London Magistrates Court, where the Regional Court, of course, sits, and that's where Julius Malema's case was heard, it is a busy, busy morning. All sorts of vehicles, police, service providers, also emergency personnel, all moving around. Incidentally, I was speaking to some of the emergency personnel from Priority Care, saying that last night actually was quite peaceful, and they haven't had any reported incidents of people being injured or anything like that. But of course, it's all about the legalities that will play out in this building behind us today. The EFF leader, Julius Malema, of course, convicted in October 2025 on firearms-related charges, and he will be starting his pre-sentencing hearings today. All right, and here I am joined as people, supporters of the EFF, passed by Advocate Bayethe Maswazi. Advocate, good morning. Let's just start with the gravity of the charges that Julius Malema faces.
It's quite grave. In respect of the count of possession of a semi-automatic or automatic firearm, the minimum sentences apply, and therefore it contemplates a sentence of 15 years, unless the court finds that there are substantial and compelling circumstances that renders it appropriate that a lesser sentence should be applicable.
So when we look at that 15-year sentence, if you can just explain to us, you know, it is quite severe. And in terms of the sort of leeway that the judge would have, one, does she? And two, what sort of circumstances would be taken into consideration as the judge mulls over the sentencing?
Generally, sentencing takes into account three important factors. One is the accused himself. Two is the offense in terms of which the accused has been convicted. Three is the interest of the community, because the community has got an interest in respect of the crime prevention aspect of it. In respect of the accused himself, you might find, for instance, circumstances like being a first offender, the age, his responsibility towards any third parties such as his children. As you know, the Constitution guarantees the right of the interest of the child being taken into account in circumstances where the issue about the child is concerned. So the question of sentencing also incorporates that kind of an inquiry.
So today, as you said, these are quite grave charges, but of course, today is the pre-sentencing, the start of the pre-sentencing hearing. So what exactly does that entail? What would be presented to the judge today?
Well, the form it takes depends on the election of the accused, that is Mr. Malema himself. He can, for instance, choose to take the witness stand and lead evidence in mitigation of sentence, or he can instruct his legal representative to speak on his behalf from the bar to show the court the mitigating factors, including, because the minimum sentences apply, the substantial and compelling circumstances that I alluded to earlier.
Many are wondering whether Julius Malema could receive perhaps something like a suspended sentence. What is the likelihood of that? And of course, just looking again, you said 15 years minimum sentence, which is quite harsh, and it would have grave implications for his political career going forward as well. So just speak to us about some of that.
Well, that one depends on whether the court actually finds that there are substantial and compelling circumstances. If the court finds that there are substantial and compelling circumstances, the court can impose any lesser sentence, including one which is suspended, option of a fine, and so on. So it depends.
And of course, with regard to the proceedings themselves, so what can we expect today? What are the possibilities? Is there a possibility of a postponement, in terms of how long they may sit here today, and, whether there is likely to be a sentence handing down today?
Well, there are quite a number of possibilities. It's possible that the proceedings themselves can continue and not finish today. It's possible that the evidence part of the proceedings can finish today and the magistrate decides that the actual ruling on the sentence is going to be handed down in a later date. It's possible that there could be a postponement even before the proceedings actually start, but it depends. There could be a number of possibilities.
And just finally, the EFF has indicated that they will be appealing this particular conviction. So in terms of that, what are the implications thereof and how long is that likely to take? As you know, this is the regional magistrate court, and the appeal from this court, subject to leave being granted by this court, goes to the High Court, and then from there it goes to the Supreme Court of Appeal and then the Constitutional Court. So one is looking at around 2 to 3 years before the whole process, if it goes on appeal, actually finishes. Best case scenario?
Best case scenario, I would say 2 years, because if they appeal all the way, it means they will go to the Constitutional Court. So the best case will be 2 years, I think, yes.
Well, thanks so much, Advocate Bayethe Maswazi, helping us wade through the legalese around this particular matter. As you heard, a very grave conviction here for Julius Malema that carries at least a 15-year minimum sentence. And it's going to be up to the discretion of the judge in terms of weighing up while she will be presented in mitigation in the pre-sentencing hearing and making up her mind as to how Julius Malema will then be sanctioned.